Copa del Rey final, ladies and gentlemen. It does not get any more excited than this Saturday, 1 p.m. Los Angeles, California Pacific time, or 10 p.m. in the Estadio Olímpico of Sevilla, where they're going to be kicking off Real Madrid, Barcelona, El Clásico, the clash of clash. And I want to know, how nervous is Barcelona Nation right now? And I want you guys to know how confident you are. Comment your predictions in this video. I will be giving away $50 via Venmo or Zelle or Cash App, whatever one of those three that you have, if you can predict the score right, only if Barcelona wins the game. So this video, we're going to be having lots of fun. We're going to create the best starting 11 out of these two teams. What Hansi Flick is going to bring for this game, what I believe he's going to line up with, and also my official prediction. So let's get into the storylines. I'm going to start with Real Madrid and I'm going to do Barcelona after. So Real Madrid has on their hands, on a silver platter, an amazing opportunity to avenge the humiliation that Barcelona has put on their hands in the last couple of matches. And if you want to count the friendly match in Miami that was 3-0 victory for Barcelona, then that's three matches out of the last three games with an 11-2 on aggregate, or I think it's 12 actually. So whether that game ended 2-1 or 3-0, I can't remember, but that's a friendly, so who cares? So they have a great opportunity not only to win silverware themselves, but they also have a great opportunity to keep Barcelona from winning that treble, in a huge momentum shifter that it would be for Real Madrid to win this game and having only to focus in La Liga with 4 points behind. And Barcelona has to play Inter on Tuesday, then have to play Valladolid in the weekend, and then they have to play Inter on Wednesday. And Real Madrid just have to focus on La Liga after hypothetically winning the Copa del Rey. So they have a big opportunity here to keep, this momentum and, the storyline that it would be the worst Real Madrid in decades against the best Barcelona, and if they are able to beat them. And trust me, I've watched Barcelona, Real Madrid for 30 years. I am not the oldest person, but I've been watching since I was a little kid, okay? I've seen the worst Barcelona beat the best Real Madrid, and I've seen the best Real Madrid and I've seen the best Barcelona get beat by the worst Real Madrid. So I've seen both things, and this is why El Clásico hits different. El Clásico, anything can happen, and so many things that can go right and can go wrong and can do a huge momentum. Now that I've said that, I do think Real Madrid is planning to beat Barcelona, but like Mike Tyson said, everyone has a chance and everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And now, let's talk Barcelona storyline. And Barcelona has a huge opportunity they haven't had since 2015 in the MSN, is to win the treble. And actually it's the quadruple, because the Super Cup, can you imagine the storyline of Barcelona winning a quadruple, beating three of those tournaments, Real Madrid head to head? That's something they haven't had for years. 4 years, beating Real Madrid in la Copa del Rey, la Supercopa, and beating them in La Liga. That is incredible. That is just unheard of. It's never happened. It has to be some sort of a record. So they have a huge opportunity here to make this season mean a lot more, because it was against Real Madrid. Can you imagine winning a quadruple and three of those with Real Madrid head to head? That's insane. And Barcelona has a really good opportunity. Let's remember, Hansi Flick has not lost any final as a manager any final with any team as a coach, Hansi Flick is just unbeatable. And I think Barcelona has a huge coaching edge now that we're talking about that. I think he has an edge over Carlo Ancelotti, who just keeps getting stubborn. And Barcelona, after that, can just go focus in La Liga and focus in the Champions League with 3 matches away from winning that tournament as well. And now, let's get into the lineup predictions. But first and foremost, I want to talk about a few details for this match. Real Madrid, Barcelona. They both have their fair share of injuries. Alejandro Valdez out for the game. Hopefully, we can get him back for the Champions League. Of course, Bernal, Casado don't count. They're done for the season. Ter Stegen's supposed to be back at least in the lineup, and Lewandowski, who's supposed to be back the same time with Balde. So I think Lewandowski is actually out for the first leg, and I think Alejandro Balde will too. They are both out for the first leg against Inter Milan. So now, Carvajal, Real Madrid player, is out of the season. Same thing with Militao, and actually news broke that Camavinga is out for the season. So they are both having their fair share of injuries here. Ferland Mendy is doubtful. I expect him to play in this game. To be honest with you, I think he will play, and also Mbappe. I think he's also doubtful, but I think he will play as well. So let's take a look at the knockouts real quick and a little bit of the story and how everything unfolded for these teams. Barcelona beat Valencia in the quarterfinals. Then they beat Atletico Madrid in the semifinals, and then of course now they have to face Real Madrid in the final. Real Madrid, on the other hand, then they had to be they had a little bit of an easier road to say. Who remembers the quarterfinal, the Celta de Vigo Real Madrid, and that robbery? That was utterly insane. And nobody wants to talk about it. As far as Real Madrid, they all sweep it under the rug. The Leganes, that game was crazy, and the quarterfinals. And then the semifinal, they beat Real Sociedad, another crazy game. Real Madrid just keeps getting on the right side of these crazy games for whatever reason. They're so lucky. And now they're in the final, and they have to face Barcelona. And now let's take a look a little bit of head to head. So Barcelona is winning actually with 25, and this is all time, 25 victories over Real Madrid, 20 and 10 draws. But let's take a look in the Copa del Rey, okay? So Barcelona has won 3, Real Madrid has won 4 and 3 draws. So that's important. And the last time they met in this matchup exactly, it has to be a revenge for Barcelona too, because Real Madrid beat Barcelona 2-1 in 2014. That was the last time they played in a Copa del Rey final, and Real Madrid was able to come on top and beat Barcelona 2-1. So that's something very, very important. And also the last time they played, Real Madrid beat Barcelona 4-0, and that was April 2023. That was actually the last time Real Madrid beat Barcelona, by the way. So that's a fun fact. So now, guys, let's get into the lineups. So let's be honest. Let's just be objective here. And if you disagree with anything that I am saying, I would love for you to comment and make me change my mind in the comments. That is what that is for. So please go ahead and comment your thoughts. So Chesney is having an amazing season. He took over and he came to Barcelona mid-season, and let's remember Peña was the starter, but then he got injured and something happened for like a game, and then Chesney took over and he never looked back. But I think we can all agree that Courtois has saved Real Madrid's season, and the only reason why they are here and they made it to the quarterfinals in the Champions League was due to Courtois. So I will give the edge to Thibaut Courtois for the goalkeeper. So the RV, to me, there's 2 things I want to say here. So I think that Ancelotti has a chance to beat Barcelona if he makes the changes that I think that he needs to make, because both of these teams play the 4-2-3-1 lineup, and I think that lineup it plays into Barcelona's hands. They have showed that they beat Real Madrid with this lineup, and Real Madrid actually plays better with a 4-4-2. So can Ancelotti pull the trigger and pull Rodrigo out and bring in Abraham Diaz, someone who can create but can defend in the midfield area, or another Guller? That can be something that could have something new to show Barcelona they haven't seen before this season. But that's neither here nor there. I think Real Madrid has to play Valverde as a right back. If they play Lucas Vasquez, I think they're in trouble. So I'm just gonna pretend this is a Kunde versus Fede Valverde. And if you take a look, they are both great players. And I think Fede Valverde is an amazing midfielder, by the way. But I think he's a solid RV, but he does not beat Kunde. Kunde haven't had a day off. He just had a day off, and he hadn't had a day off for like 103 games or something. He hadn't had a day off since 2023. That is crazy. And ability is your best availability. So I am gonna give Kunde the edge over Fede Valverde, and I think that would be the first Barcelona player that we have. And now, Asensio or Kubarsi? Let's be real here. Asensio just started playing as a starter for Real Madrid. Kubarsi already had so many more touches, so many more games, so much more experience, and I think they both make their fair share of mistakes. But I think overall, Kubarsi is a much better player, and also not only the sample size in Barcelona, Real Madrid, but also De La Fuente, Kubarsi has been a starter for the national team as well. So I think that scoreboard, Kubarsi is a much better player than Asensio, and I'm being objective. And now Rudiger against Inigo Martinez. I think Inigo Martinez has been having an amazing season, one of the best, players in his position in the entire world, right now. I don't think Rudiger is having that kind of season. I think Rudiger was having that season last year. If we were talking last year, I definitely go with Rudiger, but I think Inigo Martinez is definitely the best player right now today. If we have to pick one, it has to be Inigo Martinez. And let's see, Inigo Martinez. That will be 3-1 so far. And let's talk about left backs. With Balde being out, I would have picked Balde over Fran Garcia or Ferland Mendy. Definitely Balde is a much better player in his position. I think he's playing the best out of anyone in that position right now. But let's give Ferland Mendy the edge over Gerard Martin right now, who's only had maybe 3 starts so far and has not been great. He's been okay, but he's not been great. So being objective here, I think Ferland Mendy is definitely the go-to guy. So now I want to talk either Frankie de Jong or Tchouaméni. Okay, so when we're talking Tchouaméni, I think Tchouaméni had a really bad first half of the season, and also Frankie de Jong in a weird way had kind of an off and on with injuries and at times not playing as great. But I think right now they are both playing outstanding football, and the way that Tchouaméni is recovering a lot of bad things that Real Madrid is doing right now. At times he's the only guy, the only glue that's holding everything together between Tchouaméni and Courtois, and I think that's very important. However, I think the abilities and the clinical player and the kind of technical player that Frankie de Jong is second to none. I am gonna go with Frankie de Jong, and right now the double pivot that Pedri and Frankie de Jong have, it's incredible. It's second to none, guys. And now let's talk either Ceballos or Pedri Gonzalez. I think this is where Pedri Gonzalez comes out on top, even if it was Jude Bellingham. But Pedri Gonzalez is the best in the world. There's no one comes second. Someone may say, Partey. Someone may say Declan Rice. We can have a conversation, but today in Spain, Pedri Gonzalez is the best midfielder in the world, and I will take him over anyone. And the master classes that he does game in and game out, it's just insane. So now Dani Olmo or Jude Bellingham. Dani Olmo is so important for Barcelona, and getting him at the right time is just insane. It's a cheat code, literally. And we saw that in the last couple of games. 2 goals, guys. Important goals that have given Barcelona 6 points. And in the last 7 games, he has scored 9 goals. And then out of those 9 goals, I think 7 goals have given Barcelona direct victory. So very important player for Barcelona. However, the season that Jude Bellingham's having overall, at times being the only player that's holding Real Madrid as well, I am going to give Jude Bellingham the edge in this occasion as a number 10. I think Jude Bellingham is going to be the better player because availability, it's the best ability. And I live by that. I do really value players who are just available every single game. And I think Jude Bellingham is one of those players. So now let's talk Rodrigo or Lamine Yamal. I mean, Lamine Yamal, guys, Lamine Yamal has 34 goal contributions this year, 14 goals, 19 assists, and Rodrigo has had like a goal in the last 10 matches and hasn't really been playing good. At times, a no show for Real Madrid, especially in the Champions League. So, definitely Lamine Yamal as a top Ballon d'Or contender. I'm not saying he's going to win it. I'm not trying to make predictions right now or make controversies. I'm just saying Lamine Yamal is one of the best players in the world. So now this is an important conversation and we have to be adults about it. Vinicius Jr. against Raphinha. Who is the best player right now? The best Brazilian. So Vinicius Jr. has 20 goals, 13 assists, but Raphinha, my man, 50 GAs this season, 51 GAs. That is insane. And so Vinicius Jr. has 33, Raphinha has 51. And we're not just talking numbers here. Any comeback that Barcelona has had this season has been with Raphinha being at the helm. Raphinha scoring those clutch goals against Benfica, clutch goals against Bayern Munich, clutch goals against Real Madrid, clutch goals in all Champions League. He's a top scorer not the top scorer in La Liga, but one of the top scorers in La Liga, one of the top scorers in the Champions League. Incredible season for Raphinha. And as a player overall, I would probably say Vinicius Jr. is better. That is to show you that I'm objective. But this season, I think Raphinha is the better player and the most clutch player. Vinicius Jr. has been a no-show in many, many, many games this season, especially in the Champions League. And I think Raphinha gets the nod over Vinicius Jr. Now, that leaves us with either Lewandowski hypothetically or Mbappe, or let's say Ferran Torres over Mbappe. I don't think neither number 9 right now can be better than Mbappe, who has been really important. Or even though he kind of feels like he ghosted in the Champions League, numbers he would say that he didn't. He has scored 8 goals in the Champions League, in La Liga in 28 games, 22 goals. So he already have more goals than Cristiano Ronaldo's first season in La Liga, and 8 goals in the Champions League used to be, back in the day when I watched football 10, 15 years ago, 8 goals used to be an incredible stat. And now we just look at it like it's nothing. So Mbappe has been better than people think for Real Madrid. The problem is the Real Madrid, the style that they play, 3 players play in the same position, and Rodrigo and Mbappe and Vinicius Jr., they're all 3 of them are left wingers. So that's kind of stupid, to be honest. And Mbappe having to adapt to a number 9 position, he has struggled, but he's been in a lot of stretches for Real Madrid. He has been the better player. So I will give Mbappe the upper hand. So that leaves us, ladies and gentlemen, the best starting 11 out of both teams. I want you guys to let me know down in the comments, what are your thoughts? What do you think I got wrong? Do I have too many Barcelona players? Am I biased, or do I just have the perfect lineup? So let me know. So now, my official prediction for this game. I think it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be the domination that Barcelona has been able to put out in the last couple of games against Real Madrid. I think it's going to be a more hard-fought game. I think Barcelona pulls it off 3-1. But the game is not going to play out like this. The game is going to be 2-1 with Barcelona scoring a last minute goal and make it 3-1, make it more decisive. But for the majority of the game, it's going to be one goal for Barcelona, one goal for Real Madrid, another goal for Barcelona, and at the end, Barcelona pulls it off 3-1. And I believe Lamine Yamal scores in this game. I believe Raphinha scores 2 goals in this game, and Lamine Yamal scores the third one. So let me know down in the comments, what are your thoughts? What's your prediction? I am totally nervous for this game. I'm so anxious. I feel like time is ticking twice as slow right now, and I just want Saturday to be here already. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. I had so much fun making this video. So if you enjoyed this video, if you made it all the way to the end, please comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.